No, it's apparently not just you. Can you hear us now? Okay, don't mess with anything. Can you can you hear us? They could hear me for a second. Okay, we can't hear Sarah. Okay. We can hear Avery, not Sarah. Okay. She knows why. She knows why. She's fixing it since you guys can apparently hear me.
I'm in love with the. Okay, there we go. Now they can hear me.
How about now, guys?
Do you have a weird echo? Say something?
No.
Nope. Nope. I see that arc on the back shelf. It is there. There we go. Cheers, babe. You know what? This is a practice round for tomorrow because I already told Avery. Avery was like, no echo. Oh, blessings. I already told Avery, like, I'm so nervous for tomorrow's live. Oh, wait. I have to tell you guys this. Okay, because nobody at work understood this. Nobody. Everyone in this chat's going to get this. Okay. So,
Oh, good Lord.
Okay. I swear to God, this is true. Like, I did not make this up. Okay. Promise, swear on my life, swear on Rowan's life, which is ironic for what I'm about to say. So,
Okay.
So, I work in an office with a lot of people, and I jokingly said I was going to bring in my favorite candles one day. I was like, I'm going to bring them in, whatever. And so I brought in a poppy candle and a pine and snow candle. I brought two. Okay. The poppy candle I brought more as a joke because it smells very strong of honeydew. And they now call it, for anyone who has context in Gwyneth Paltrow's hoo-ha candle. Do you know what I'm talking about? The goop candle she made? Yeah. Now they call that everyone in the office calls it Sarah's goop candle, which is lovely. Okay. So today we usually get lunch delivered, but you can choose what you want. And today we had like very weird options. Like one was like Mexican and the other was like, I think it was Indian. So like very strong scents in the office. Okay. And everyone was like, I don't want to, like, the whole office smelled like too many cultural foods. It's just a lot of food, Individually, they smell lovely. Together, not great. Okay. So I was like, guys, how do you feel about Christmas? And they were like, oh, we love it. And I was like, please hold. So did I light my pine candle in the center of the office and it was lit the entire day? I would walk out and it smelled like pine and snow.
You are the most obnoxious person I know, and I love you so much for it.
I was like, and do you know how many people came up to me and were like, oh my God, this is the best candle. And I was like, pine and snow, I know.
Yeah, addressing my hair, it is not purple. It is brown.
Her hair is brown. I have already asked her, Avery, if it wasn't that I didn't FaceTime her every day, I would be very confused.
My hair is not purple.
It's not purple.
I did that once freshman year of college. Never again.
Did you really?
It was just a streak, but yeah.
I dyed my hair blue once. Like, not entirely. You remember when we were younger, the chalk thing was very popular?
Yeah.
I chalked my hair blue. Let me tell you, red and blue, not great combos.
America.
It's just not good. Makes purple, by the way. It's not a great. Um, First off,
uh,
before we sorry. Number one, we started late because I came home late from work because work was craziness today.
yeah,
I
I texted her like an hour before we were supposed to start, and I was like, "You still good?" And she calls me at 8:30 my time, 7:30 her time, and goes, "I'm just leaving the office." And I was like, "How far away are you?"
Yeah, so I work at a really incredible company, and today they
Mhm.
donated. Well, today they officially allocated over $600,000 to charity. So it was
Woohoo!
very exciting. And so we were all celebrating because all of these amazing, incredible children who are dealing with rare diseases are going to get 600 plus $1,000 for some of their medical expenses. So it was a big deal. We were all celebrating that,
Yeah.
we were privileged enough to do this. I do not work
Yeah.
on that team. I just got to celebrate with them.
Woo!
Um, so I was very excited, which honestly makes me want to do more charity things with our book club. I
Yeah.
now say our book club because Avery, I feel like, is just as much of an owner of it as I am. Um,
Look, I'm just heavily invested, and somehow Sarah and I, between our 9 to 5, still do this,
yeah,
which
we're
is
psycho.
a miracle. It's
We
a
are
miracle,
we are
guys.
psycho. I'm
Truly.
drinking coffee because it's the only way I could stay up for this. If I'm going to be totally
I
honest with you,
I am not
baby, you don't
drinking
have to.
coffee.
You don't have to. The other thing, and I know I'm drinking coffee, but I'm gonna cheers. Today was the release of our first episode of our podcast, so I'm proud of us. Cheers.
Hey.
For any really quick context, and then I promise I will get to the point of this live, and then kind of
Mhm.
explain what's gonna happen. So, the intro podcast for anyone who listened to it. Fun fact. I spent probably 2 days editing that intro because I was like, Tatiana, I don't want you to edit this intro. It's only 30 minutes long. I'll edit it. Spent about 2 days editing the intro. Um, put it in a folder. She didn't see it. It's totally my fault, not her fault. And she added the music to the unedited podcast. And that is what is the intro podcast that you all listen to, was the unedited one. I cut out that whole shower conversation in the edited one and a bunch of other stuff. And that was really funny. But Tatiana's amazing. She did edit our first episode. She's incredible. We
Mhm.
love her dearly. And
Couldn't do it without her.
honestly could not do it without her. So she is, what's funny is every time a song changes for me in my headset, I just think of the
Uh-huh.
chapter that's associated with it.
Podcast is named Word from the Realm. I'll put the actual spelling of it in the chat.
Yeah. And if you guys need a link, we can also provide a link to it. But it is an hour and 45 minutes. If that's Throne of Glass, pray for us for Kingdom of Ash.
We already said in the intro podcast that Kingdom of Ash, Sky and Breath, and Silver Flames are all gonna have
Yeah.
to be
At least.
at least 2 episodes apiece.
And
There's
honestly,
no way to do it otherwise.
maybe Queen of Shadows, because I'll just talk about that book for 6 hours.
Dude, well, it's both of our favorite books, so we're both gonna talk about it for 17 and a half hours. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. So that's the fun thing there. The other thing, Avery, to circle this back because this is where my brain is. So
Okay.
for anyone who has not listened to the playlist, please do. I spent way too much time on that. Okay.
She did.
And I put Easter eggs in there that you guys don't know are Easter eggs. Like there is a certain song, Gods and Monsters, that I made a certain chapter because it's going to tie together with the Crescent City playlist. And then I found
Really?
Yes. And then I found variations.
No, I know really, but like, ma'am.
Yeah. And then there's another song in there that I found a different arrangement of because I'm going to bring it in Crown of Midnight. So there is
Yes, there is a song for each chapter.
There is a song for each chapter. Some of them are complete trolls. Gonna be totally honest. Some of them are not.
100%.
Um,
There's a Sarah and I talked, and this was completely unintentional, but so far between the Throne of Glass playlist and the Crown of Midnight playlist, they're both starting off with an Anastasia song, and I
Yeah, that's
always thought it was
hysterical.
interesting because I was like, I got major Anastasia vibes reading those first 2 books. So
okay, I'm gonna show you guys what the playlist looks like. Avery,
Yeah.
goodbye. Okay, so
Okay.
this is what it looks like on Spotify. Excuse me. There is a song for all 55 chapters. Want to call out some of my personal favorites. For almost every Nehemia scene, I put a Star Wars and something that had to do with Leia because
Of
wink,
course you
wink.
did.
The closing song was picked for a specific reason. I started getting trolly around here. This is all in homage to the fact that Throne of Glass is a Cinderella retelling. Every time Selena gets poisoned, I put a poison song. Avery's favorite is we put Secret Tunnel when Selena goes in the tunnel for the first time. For anyone who doesn't know a song to rattle the stars, that is a song that was made from Books to Books. It's incredible. She wrote this song inspired by the song that Sam gives to Selena in Assassin's Blade. So every time that song is mentioned, that is the song you will see. Yeah, I mean, this is the craziness. So,
somebody asked if it's in your reading order. The answer is yes.
Yes, but this is like this is just Throne of Glass, like book 1. So these are every chapter of book 1 of Throne of Glass. There's 55 chapters. There's 55 songs. I'll need to go and copy this to Apple. Oh yeah. Oh shoot. We can talk if we need to figure out a way to transfer it. Amanda, we can do that. Okay, hold on. Let me bring Avery back. There we go.
Hi.
Okay. All right. So let me tell you guys what actually is happening tonight, because now that we've like blabbed for 30 minutes, which is fine. So Avery and I are going to go through songs. We're going to go through names and locations, and if they have meanings. Avery is way more prepared than I am.
Wrong, but okay.
Okay. Well, so you may see some of us do this live. We don't have a Slido code because we're pretty much just going to be riffing this. But if you guys have a question,
you can throw it in the chat. It might be like a delayed answer, but throw it in the chat and we'll see if we can answer.
Oh, also Amanda, so some of the songs that were picked for Spotify, aka Prince Ali, it's because Disney has a specific thing with Robin Williams. They can't make money off of his version of it. So I had to pick the Will Smith one, which I was kind of bummed about because I prefer the Robin Williams one.
Obviously.
So if you can put the right song. By the way, the notes have the correct. I just got to the secret song. Better lock it in your pocket.
Hey, ADD.
Sorry. What else was I gonna say? Now I totally lost my train of thought. We're doing names and stuff. So if you want a name or for something, we can look it up. We can do our best to look it up. Some of these I think are just Sarah was guessing, so don't actually think.
Yeah.
She put listen. Sarah puts a lot of thought into things. I think especially in Throne of Glass, not so much. Which is fine. I mean, Kaol.
Yeah, so what you should know is that as far as prep goes, Sarah and I each prepped our favorite series. So she prepped Throne of Glass as much as humanly possible, and I prepped ACOTAR as much as humanly possible. Neither of us, I don't believe, have prepped Crescent City.
Nope.
So you'll get some of this done live. So if there's a specific place that you want the definition name.
Oh, I did look up Rune's name.
Of course you did. Of course you did. That's okay. It's kind of Throne of Glassy. It's fine. Or if there's like a specific location in the places we've already prepped that like we didn't include, and just chuck it in the chat and I can do quick searches and stuff and we can go from there.
Yeah. So I'm gonna start with Throne of Glass.
Get it, girl. We always start with Throne of Glass. Let's be real.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
Okay.
I feel like you actually are just excited because I get to be the guinea pig.
I am. Look. Hate on me, hater.
You know what? Fuck off. That's what I gotta say to that one. All right. Okay. So I'm gonna go through some of the names in Throne of Glass. Not all of them, but a good chunk of them. Some of these I think have no meanings, and some of them I think they do actually have meanings. The other thing I want to quickly throw out for anyone who does, and we'll go over this again. I'll repeat this tomorrow as well. Is that someone messaging me? Oh, okay, good. It's just work.
Ooh.
It's fine.
ADD meds, hun.
Oh, I heard the noise. I was like, I'm like, bing. Yes, who needs me? So for anyone who doesn't know this, Throne of Glass was originally on a site called Fiction Press, which is a parent site to fanfiction.net. If you are of the same generation as Avery and I, or a little older, you probably are very familiar with fanfiction.net, because that was like the OG fanfiction site until AO3 popped up. Fiction Press was essentially the same thing, except it was for original works only. So think of it as like, instead of it being tied to work, Fiction Press was original works only. Sarah originally uploaded Throne of Glass as Queen of Glass on Fiction Press all those years ago. In fact, in the arc that's above me, that one, it references the Fiction Press Queen of Glass article. The reason I bring it up is because in the Discord, we have Queen of Glass, which is like totally offline, but I found a copy and put it in the Discord. And the whole reason I'm bringing this up is because there was a character in Queen of Glass that was taken out whose name was Morgaine. And while I have not fully read Queen of Glass because, oh, y'all, it's rough. I mean, bless Sarah. She wrote it when she was 16, so I can't judge the queen. I think it was supposed to be Bobby Yellowlegs, I think, based off of, like, the quick search I did. But it is, if you have a second, look at Queen of Glass and, like, scroll at the bottom and at least read the acknowledgments that Sarah wrote, because it is very fascinating. Like, that was my favorite part about it. So, okay, I'm actually not going to get Throne of Glass, but I wanted to bring that up because I thought that was a funny little nod. Okay, Aelin.
Sarah, check the chat. Sarah, before you start, check the chat.
Which one?
There's just questions for you in it that I can't answer.
Oh. Morgan.
Somebody said, where in Discord is it? Do you have a PDF of Queen of Glass?
It is. So it is, I believe it's in the Throne of Glass like, it's in the TOG to KOA channel, and if you look at penned, it is the first thing in there.
There you go.
Yes.
I was like, I just can't answer that. So
I can also move it if someone wants. I can put it to TOG resources as well. So I can put it, but it's originally it's pinned in the TOG KOA channel. Do we have? Yeah, of course we have Queen of. Are you kidding me? Of course I found it. Please. Okay, so going through some of these names, which I just want to quickly say that Rowan and I are meant to be together, so cheers to that for what his name means. Take a wild guess for anyone wondering. So Aelin's name means moon, light, or desired, which I was like, oh, didn't realize Aelin actually had a meaning, but cool, good to know. Gabriel's is God is my strength or hero, which is appropriate. Lysandra's is liberator. I kind of love. Adian's is the gift of Gab.
fitting.
Yeah. Oh, some of these are really funny. Nehemiah's is actually a boy's name in Hebrew, and it means comforted by God. Oh, God, I can't cry about her yet. By the way, series spoilers for all three books. I forgot all three series. I forgot to say that.
Oh yeah.
But just want to clarify.
I feel like most theory Thursdays have that disclaimer anyway. Like
it does.
We're going nuts.
Yeah,
y'all.
we're going crazy. Okay, Caltain's, which I actually love. It is free spirit, visionary, or highly attractive, which I'm sure she took because of the highly attractive, but like she was a visionary.
Yeah. Somebody said that they think Aelin's name also means river in Tolkien's language.
You know what? You were probably more correct on the actual meaning, because for anyone who doesn't know this, Sarah's a massive Lord of the Rings fan. Yeah. And I mean, anyone want to take a wild guess on who Rowan is based off of? I think it's kind of obvious. Yeah, kind of obvious.
I think my name is most closely related to a river for Throne of Glass, so you know it's fine.
You mean the river that I want to chuck Kaelin in Queen of Shadows?
Sure. Mm-hmm. If you want to chuck Kaelin to me, I'm not gonna argue with you.
The mental image I just got. Oh, I hate it. I hate it. Why did you just say that? Oh my God. Avery!
know it. Dorian's my baby.
Oh my
Look,
God.
okay. I don't get to talk about the fact that my name is the name of the river often enough, so I gotta throw it in there where I can.
Anyways,
You're not even drinking alcohol. What was
no, I'm
that?
not, but I'm just so grossed out right now. Morath, yeah, Morath and Mort, yes, I would agree with that. Okay, so Fenris's name is well, for anyone who doesn't already know this, it is part of Norse mythology. Fenris, that is, and it's spelled differently, but it is that story, and it means monstrous wolf. So that definitely fits. The other thing too. Wait, hold on. Fenris was actually introduced in Heir of Fire. Never mind. I was like, maybe she did that on purpose because then she was starting to think of the crossover around Queen of Shadows, Empire Storms, but that doesn't make any sense because Fenris's name was already decided. Moonbeam, yeah, exactly. Dorian is a gift.
He is a gift.
Jesus. So Maeve,
I love him so much.
Maeve's name is really interesting because it says her name is She Who Rules, but also there is I think it's Celtic. There's the Celtic myth on Maeve.
Yeah.
So which the Celtic myth about Maeve is more about because Maeve in the Celtic mythology, she's not really a villain, she's more of a seductress. So it's a different interpretation, but I'm sure that's where it came from. Mora is Star of the Sea, and then Mab is the Queen of Mab from Romeo and Juliet. So that makes total sense. Manon, this is my personal favorite. Manon means beautiful queen in Welsh.
The love of my freaking life.
I love that her name means that. Like,
okay. So just in case anybody wants to know, I didn't know I was bi until I read about Manon, and then I was like, oh.
Do you know how many people on TikTok have told me that? And I'm like, oh.
She is a sexual awakening, and my
really?
God. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Well, that's how you know you're straight, love.
Yeah, I only had eyes for Rowan. Yeah, I mean, it did take me 90% of Heir of Fire to finally realize she was attractive. I thought she was old looking. We've had this
right.
Yeah, we talked about this.
You pictured her like Bobby Yellowlegs instead of the stunning murderous creature that she is.
And then I pictured her, even though I know it says she had white hair, I couldn't get the image out of my head that she wasn't why am I blanking on her name? Oh my God, Sam's gonna correct me. From Witcher.
Like Yennefer?
Yennefer. I then couldn't get the image out that Manon was Yennefer. Like, she was Yennefer the whole first time I read it.
If she looks close to anybody, she looks closer to like an older Ciri.
Yes.
In the Witcher.
But to me, Ciri looks like Aelin. So like,
okay, yeah. I mean, I can see that.
It's the outfits.
Aelin has blonde hair, and Ciri has like white silvery hair.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. Listen, when we get to Heir of Fire, I will have to explain this whole reading experience about the witches and everyone's going to dog on me, and it's fine.
Oh, she absolutely skimmed the witch chapter.
I read them.
We know that. I said skimmed.
I was going to say, I just want to clarify.
All right.
I did read them.
I didn't say skip. I said skim.
But if you had asked me what occurred in those chapters, couldn't tell you.
Oh my God. And meanwhile, I was sitting there like, because I had been on Book Talk long enough at this point to know that the witches were like, I knew I was going to fall in love with Manon. Yeah. And so you know that like simp scream sound that's on TikTok?
Yeah.
The first time I ever used that was zooming in on Manon's name in Heir of Fire.
I think the thing I was going to say, I skimmed and I regret everything. This is the thing. I'm going to be totally honest. If it's your first read through and you skim Manon because you're so invested in Rowan and Aelin, I know this is controversial, but I would say I think it's okay as long as you know you're going to go back and reread it.
Wrong.
I think listen, I went back and reread it because I had already known what was going on with Rowan and Aelin. I could enjoy the witches chapters.
Okay, all right.
Now I enjoy them. Now I love them.
No. We're talking about this.
This is a whole podcast discussion because this is
fine. Okay, if you're gonna sit
Do you
there,
know you yelling at me right now and then me having "I'll make a man out of you" playing in my ears is not helping this situation.
Okay. If you're going to sit there and tell me that I need to either do the tandem read or read Empire of Storms first, because then I read Tower of Dawn and I just have to, and I quote, be patient until we get back to Aelin. And you're going to sit there and you're going to tell me that not knowing what's going on with Aelin and Rowan, so you have to skim the witch chapters. No, ma'am. Try again. Uno reverse.
I'm just saying. Okay, listen.
Bullshit.
Listen, let's put a book that we both agree these chapters were boring. Okay.
No.
No.
They weren't boring.
Let me put a book in perspective where the chapters were boring. Hosap, you're telling me you are seriously going to reread those Therion chapters seriously?
No.
Exactly. Because you are more invested in Bryce and Hunt.
No. I'm more invested in a certain other couple that we're not going to talk about. Let's be honest.
Okay, but
I can skip them for them.
Okay.
But okay, okay, here's the difference. Plated Prisoner, Queen Melina. Skimmable chapters because you can still get the gist of it.
You just don't read them like I did.
Skimmable chapters, but you can still get the gist of it. Like, trust me, I love Plated Prisoner. Will I go back and read Queen Melina's chapters? Absolutely. Did I care about her? Absolutely not. The witches are so freaking important, Sarah.
I know. Okay, see, this is the thing.
Skip them on the first
but
read.
This is okay. We have to remember two very important things.
I'm
Number one,
gonna start standing up right now. You are driving me insane.
Okay, number one. Okay, this was the second book I had ever read in the past 10 years. Okay,
you have made Claire mad about your theory.
I know that. Okay, you know what? Claire and I can talk later because if I put a poll in the Discord right now, did you actually pay attention to the Therion chapters? Don't freaking lie to me.
Okay, Claire did, but no one else did. Let's be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
Therion is the Little Mermaid, and we all skimmed it.
Yeah,
Continue.
let's be real. Okay, this is what I want to say. You have to remember, when I read Throne of Glass, I'm not kidding, and I said this on the podcast, it was divine intervention that I didn't even skip, I didn't DNF, because usually when I get to a book and I'm like really not enjoying the experience, I'll DNF. Like, I have no problem DNFing. I don't know what it was about Throne of Glass that had such a hold on me, because if you had asked me while I was reading like Throne of Glass through Airfire, I was like, I don't know if I like this. Like, I don't know. And everyone's like, but you're not a huge reader. Like, what do you were when you were younger, but you're not. And I'm like, I'm just going to stick with it. Okay. So do I regret skimming the witches chapters because I was so invested in Aelin? No, I don't. Because
wrong.
I don't regret it. But did I go back and read them and appreciate them? 1000%. Because I know what happened to my babies, so I don't need to panic. I don't need to panic.
I know what happened to my babies because my babies are the witches, and you can't. You literally read chapter 89 of Throne of Glass or of Kingdom of Ash and went, okay.
Yes, I did.
What?
Yes, I did.
That is because you skimmed the
No,
freaking
because
chapter,
I was
Sarah.
like, is Aelin going to survive this? Like, I was panicked.
Guys, I'm so sorry I'm yelling. She reflected out of me. I am Asterin is the love of my life, and you skimmed her?
Listen.
I will
but this is the thing. I appreciated her so much more because I could actually pay attention and enjoy her instead of me panicking about what is going on the other side of the continent. I didn't skim 89. Let me clarify. I didn't skim 89. I know I read it. You know what chapter I did skim? And Sam can verify this. When we were going through Kingdom of Ash last year, I said, quick question. And she was like, what? And this is 2 weeks before the live started. And I said, I didn't know Caltaine returned. Like, I had no idea. I was like, do we still have Caltaine art? Like, I was like, wait. And then I didn't, okay, I shouldn't say anything more.
If we were not live right now, I would hang up on you.
I do.
That is the most ridiculous thing you've ever said in your entire freaking life.
Wait, it gets worse. It gets worse.
Yeah, it can't get worse.
I didn't realize that there was the whole thing about Manon and Dorian being mates. I was like, what the fuck?
I want everyone to know that this right here is a daily dose of our friendship. It's just me yelling at Sarah.
I just want to say, though, this is the thing. People are like, oh, Sarah's the throne. Like, someone just said, you think I just sat on the, like, everyone's like, oh, Sarah's the throne of glass girl. She's the throne. Do you think I just propped myself on the throne and was like, throne of glass girl, ask me all the questions? No, I fell into this role. It was like you all were pushing me into the chair, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm leading the pack. Like, that's what it was like. So don't be surprised when I'm like, I don't know.
We should all be surprised when you're like,
I eventually went back and reread them, and I love the witches. Like, now I have such
love the witches.
I have
skimmed
such
them the first time, but I love the witches. Fuck you.
Listen, I have such. Oh yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. Y'all think I don't keep this from you? No, I tell you straight up. Like, I don't care.
No, I mean, we're both incredibly honest with you.
Listen, I now have such. But like, this is the amazing thing about Throne of Glass is like,
I'm almost through my tequila.
Well, go get another drink, babe, because I still have like 5 more names to go through. So like, because we got on this rant about Manon, I just want to say that like I did eventually go back, and I really do love the witches now. I have such appreciation. I totally get it. Tower of Dawn is like in the top like 4, I think, Throne of Glass books that I love. Top 4? Queen of Shadows.
The witches are not in Tower of Dawn.
No, I'm just saying there was another book I skipped. And I went back and read it, and I loved it. And I don't know why I skipped it. I loved it. I feel like it's Queen of Shadows, Kingdom of Ash.
Yeah, obviously.
Empire of Storms, Tower of Dawn, Heir of Fire. See, Heir of Fire is not high on my list. Actually, you know what? That's a lie. It's gonna be high on my list when every time you think I get giddy now. Wait till we get to Heir of Fire. I am like, my man has arrived. Like, I get so excited.
Everybody's like, Avery's stressed. You have no idea. I
don't skip the witches chapters now. I didn't.
Now. Okay. All right. Here's the thing.
I didn't.
What started this entire spiral is that Sarah said it's probably okay if you skim the witch chapters on your first read.
Because if you are really connected to the witches,
shush. She is incorrect. Because not everyone is like you, and 100%. Not everyone will go back and read the witch chapter.
Oh yeah, if you're not a rereader, don't skim them. But if you're a rereader like me, I know some people who skim the Aelin and Rowan chapters and only read the witch chapters.
They are also wrong.
Shay.
I know, I've yelled at her too.
Yeah,
you're not the only person I yell at.
Do you think you all listen to me? I already know. I like maybe get listened to like once or twice. But my reading order is soundproof. Okay.
Your reading order is soundproof if you actually read all of the chapters in the book.
I spent an entire year doing this. I have 700 plus pages of notes. I know all of those books back to front, even the witches chapters now.
Which is great. So you should not be supporting the idea that skimming the witches chapters is a good one, Sarah. Just like you no longer support the idea that skipping Assassin's Blade and Tower of Dawn, like you did, is a good idea.
Well, no, it wasn't a good idea.
I know. So stop lying to people right now.
Okay, listen, all these people read it seriously, okay? They're doing the read
all
along
of these
with us.
lovely people.
They're going to do the read along.
Seriously.
They're doing the read along with us. So they know we're going to do in depth.
I know. But there are new people who are going to come to this and be like, "Oh, she said I could skim them. It's okay." Wrong.
Okay, if I say that, then you can't tell people to read Tower of Dawn first.
Why?
Because some people are not like you, Avery, and actually pay attention to the fact that they shouldn't read the epilogue. Which ruins the entire thing. By the way, the crescendo that just happened in my ears is amazing. Anyways.
but not reading the epilogue titled Fireheart is kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah, but people are stupid, Avery.
Fine, then don't read Tower of Dawn first. But if you're like me
And you actually pay attention.
and you actually pay attention, you can read it first. It's okay.
So I think.
Okay. Anyways,
Okay, let me get through the last few days. Okay, Astrid means divinely beautiful. Iliad means gift of the sun.
Aww.
Lorcan needs a little sun in his life. Lorcan's
That sounds very familiar to somebody else who might need some sun in their lives.
Don't make that comparison. Don't make that comparison.
Okay, but he's not going to betray the inner circle, so it's fine. I'm not. No.
No, Sam, don't leave. Wait. Irene's name means goddess of peace.
Fair.
And then unpopular opinion rather than where the box says, so I start. Oh, well, that's not unpopular. Lorcan's name means little and fierce.
That man is 7 feet tall. The only thing little in his life is Iliad.
That's not the only thing that's little.
Okay, it's not little, and we both know it. We have already discussed this. Just because Rowan's is bigger does not mean his is small.
Maybe a little smaller. I mean,
are you done?
Aelin did call it big in Queen of Shadows, but I think she was just being nice.
Are you done?
No.
Stop dissing my man.
Okay, I only have Rune's name, which I just want to, you know what? I'll save this for the end because the level of frustration I have about his name is a whole different level. Locations wise, I didn't do any major research on Throne of Glass locations, I'm gonna be totally honest.
Fair.
But I think most of them she made up. Like Aurelia is not a real place. Terrasen in the original book was called something else, but it still had the Terra in it, which Terra typically means earth, so that kind of makes sense. Otterlin, I don't think has any major significance. I mean, Wolf Tribe of Terrasen. We'll talk about the Rune Mountains later. I mean, Rune Mountains and Rune may have a connection, but both of us are on the fence about that one.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, you have a long ass list in your notebook, so you want to go ahead and start doing?
I'm really trying hard not to ruin your life. Okay, so we're gonna go through this pretty quickly, because I'm gonna really try. Okay, so I'm just gonna buzz through them. If you have a question, stop me, Sarah. Okay, so Feyre is a fair or market in English, just like England English. It's a fair or market.
Wait, it has no meaning to like fairies?
I mean, it might, but it didn't pull up when I looked for it.
Okay.
Archeron has no meaning itself, but is closely spelled to the Acheron, which is where Karen from. It's a river in the underworld that Karen ferries the bodies of dead, like the souls of dead bodies, over to the underworld. Right? Yep. Cool. Elaine in French and Scottish means bright shining light. Bright shining light.
She was gonna be so great with Azriel.
I will ruin your life. And you know it. Okay. Nesta in Welsh means pure.
Oh, that is so not Nesta. Okay.
I know. Tamlin is Celtic, which is the legend of Tamlin. Which is the rescue of him by his true love from the Queen of Fairies, which is very, very ACOTAR.
Yeah, if you've never looked up the myth Tamlin,
you should.
You should.
You definitely should. Okay, moving on. Lucian in French means elegant and ethereal and light.
Like Light?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Cute
Gwen,
little Sunny D.
So I did Gwen and Gwyneth because they mean different things.
Yeah.
So Gwen is Welsh and it means white or blessed, which is very priestess of her.
Okay.
And then Gwyneth means happiness. And we all know who deserves a little bit of happiness.
Tamlin.
You. Okay, and then Berdara is actually does have a definition, but it is Berdara with an H at the end. In English means bleed.
It means what?
Bleed. Like she's gonna make somebody bleed.
Good for her.
Right?
I just realized I forgot to say what Rowan's name means. Rowan's name means red haired. Anyways, go on.
Okay. Well, Emery is spelled Emery for this definition. It is German and it means a brave, powerful ruler.
That
Keep
lines
that in
up.
mind when I read the next one. Moor is Celtic.
Mhm.
She's the Morrigan.
Yes.
A war goddess, great queen, nightmare queen. Nightmare queen.
Oh,
Emery
okay.
is a
Well, what do
ruler.
you actually think that means? Excuse me.
I am of the opinion that that means that Moore could take over the Court of Nightmares, and I wouldn't hate it.
Do you think she
I want
wants to
Kier
take over the
dead.
Court of Nightmares, though?
I don't know. I think there's a way for her to do so,
Yeah.
and I think of the inner circle, she is the best equipped to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have heard rumors and theories of Azrael taking over the Court of Nightmares, and I literally want to scream.
No, I don't think he
The
wants
answer
that
to
at
that
all.
is no. The answer to that
I don't know
is
if
no.
it's because I'm so influenced by Izzy's fanfics, but like I feel like Az wants a bit of a break from his day job.
Yeah. Give my baby some happiness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, okay, moving on. Azrael, speaking of,
Mm-hmm.
in Hebrew, which is very important,
Very important.
means God is my help. It's also the name of the angel of death in both Muslim and Jewish tradition.
I think that's where she pulled it from.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Cassian is Irish. It means curly headed. But it could also be derived from the Latin cassus, which means hollow or empty.
No, I think the other one.
Yeah, I like curly headed better, right?
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, okay, moving on.
It fits him well.
Yes. Okay, so Amran is one that's really fun. So Amran is actually Welsh. It's the legendary son of Bedwyr or Sir Bedivere, who was a knight, an Arthurian knight of the Round Table.
Okay.
In Le Morte d'Arthur by Thomas Mallory, his return when he returned the sword, as in Sir Bedivere returned the sword, it summons Nimue and Morgan Le Fay, and Morgan Le Fay is based off of the Morrigan.
Why does Nimue sound important too?
Nimue is the Lady of the Lake.
But does it have another connection?
I think so, maybe. I don't know.
Okay, sorry, I got distracted.
That's okay. Okay, moving on. Helion is Greek, derived from Helios, meaning sun.
Obvious.
Shocking.
So surprised.
Callias is Greek, meaning beauty.
By the way, do you think it's TikTok or do you think it's like just the fandom in general that we're all so thirsty for Callias stuff now?
I think part of it is TikTok, and part of it is that we're just thirsty for anything.
With Callias.
That man is the strong silent type, and none of us are immune to that.
Yeah, he's got white hair and he's quiet and he lives in a snow palace. What do you think I think about him?
Moving on.
Yep.
Okay. Vivian is French, meaning life. I know. Thiessen is really cool. It's the Etruscan goddess of the dawn, meaning illumination, clear, or famous.
Okay.
Rhysand is Welsh, meaning bringer of darkness.
Shocking.
Amarantha is Greek, which I found this one very interesting. It means unfading.
Do you think she's actually going to come back?
I hope not. I would rather her stay dead.
I'm going to be honest, and I will say this when we get to ACOTAR. This is one of the biggest, I don't want to say pitfalls, but it is kind of a pitfall. If you read Throne of Glass first, this is, I mean, I hate Maeve, but I love Maeve. because
Right.
she is an incredible character with a
Well, she's well developed and you actually kind of care about her backstory.
yeah, and like I mean you hate what she does, but like she is just God, I love her. I love to hate her.
Yeah.
It makes Amarantha so weak in comparison. Like I would love to see Maeve go up against Reese. That would be a
Yes.
cool. Oh
That would be
God, it would be
interesting.
so good. Amarantha, I'm like, really, Aelin could have squashed her like a bug.
Oh yeah.
So it's just kind of interesting.
Okay.
Anyways, sorry.
Going. Tarquin is an ancient Roman name of unknown meaning. Literally what it said.
Oh, and then I wonder where she got that name. Probably just like a baby site. I mean, that's what she did with Rowan's.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Okay, moving on. Varian
Okay,
is variable.
sounds about right.
Yep. Okay. Cressida is gold.
Yep, that sounds right too.
Baron is bear.
Well, that is, yep.
Yep. Eris means strife in Greek, but then you also have the like
Greek goddess Eris.
right.
Who is
Exactly.
like, oh, I love Eris.
Eris is awesome.
Yeah, I love like the Greek myth about Eris. Like,
Oh
oh
yeah,
God, it's so good.
so good. Okay, yeah. So look that up. Okay.
Yeah, look up the Eris myth. I don't.
For sure.
Do you think she's basing it off? Maybe a little bit.
A little bit, but I think it's like touches. It's more
Yeah.
like loosely based like my stuff. It's not like a full retelling, but it's like it's got like little nods to it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure.
Okay. All right. So this one I enjoy a lot and then would like to talk about briefly at length. Okay. Ianthe
Oh God. Okay.
means purple flower, but is related to a sea nymph in Greek myth. Ianthe is a sea nymph, and I have gone into detail about how Gwen is not a sea nymph, but rather a river nymph. So I believe that they are character foils of each other.
Huh.
Because Ianthe is the youngest priestess. And Gwen is not a priestess yet. She's actually just an acolyte.
That's what I was going to ask. Okay. Well, but I also think, and I didn't really realize it until I did like, because I'm going to be honest, and let's all be honest here because I'm not the only person that does this. When I do a casual reread of Mist and Fury, I skip the first part.
Everybody skips the part where Feyre is getting married to Tamlin. Don't we all?
Okay, but I skip all the way up to when Rhys grabs her and is like, let's go to Valeris. That's where I start.
No, I mean that's where we all start, is when she's literally kneeling on the ground in the manor and Moore comes and gets her. That's
exactly. It's like my favorite part to start. However, I recently listened to it. Okay, whatever, Amanda. Be better than us. Okay, you know what? It's fine.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so proud of you. Okay, when I listened to the graphic audio, I didn't skip it. Well, I eventually had to because I couldn't hear Tamlin and Farah get it on one more time. But yeah, exactly. I was like, after the second time, I was like, I don't want to hear this again. But what I found really interesting is I didn't realize it until I listened to it this time with the graphic audio with Ianthe, that they explain that Ianthe essentially is very privileged. Like she came from a very wealthy family. It's very clear that it was like a prestigious thing to send her to like the priest. So like it's not like Gwen, who it was like she was born and raised in it because it was more like it's a protection thing. It was a status symbol for Ianthe. And so it just, I don't know, it's just a little interesting thing that I didn't realize until the second reread.
Anyways, so
sorry.
Look into the myth of Ianthe. She is a sea nymph, and I have an entire theory based on sea nymphs versus river nymphs and their differences and their relation to the goddess Artemis. Okay. Why are you looking at me like that? You know I have a Gwen as a Lightfinger theory.
I know, but that is so much on a page.
Hun, that's not even the whole thing. Look. There's a whole other page.
You know what? I don't know why I'm reacting this way. You know that my computer notes are just as psychotic. Oh. Okay. Anyways, go on.
We know this about each other. It's fine. Okay,
yeah, I just didn't do it all digitally, so.
That is why I'm the one in the podcast holding the book, sipping the coffee, and you're the one on the computer.
Yeah, it's true.
It's true. That's why.
I do all my notes digitally.
I do not. I have to write them down first, and then I might transfer them to a digital document. Maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a
Um,
whole whiteboard for a reason. Anyway, moving on. Okay. Clotho.
oh,
I love Clotho.
I love this
Okay.
one.
So Clotho is actually, so it means spinner. And she is one of the fates. And she is the one who can like foresee the future and control your fate. Like
Yes.
that's her role. And if
Yes.
you think for one mother second that Clotho does not know what's going on with everybody, think again. Think again.
She totally
Also,
does.
there's a reason that she smiled and laughed when Asriel gave her the necklace for Gwen. It's fine.
I mean, I would agree. But I also think she knows. Again, am I being influenced by fan fiction? Probably, but I don't care. I think she knows because Gwen knows that they're mates.
Well, yeah, because Clotho was very clearly the counselor that Gwen saw. And the mating bond in my head snapped for Gwen the night she was rescued by Asriel, and
Yep.
she is just keeping it from him because
Yep.
he covets the mating bond so much.
Yep.
It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm
Yep.
fine.
Yep. And she's gonna keep it from him until
Oh, they're gonna be husband and wife before it finally
Reese is
clicks
gonna
for
find
him.
out before anyone, and he's gonna be like,
Well,
"Oh, I
okay,
can't
but
keep
like,
this secret."
but like Reese definitely, like Reese knows.
I don't know if Reese knows. I don't know if he knows right now, because I mean, if you
I
think
don't know.
about it, in Silver Flames' mind was elsewhere to be worried about his brother's
Sure,
mate.
sure, but he was also incredibly protective over Gwen in Silver Flames because he straight up went into Nesta's mind and told her to treat Gwen with
But he was like
kindness
that
and
in Wings
respect.
and Ruin in regards to all the priestesses. Like he was
Yeah,
just he
but
was
like, why?
because I mean, to play devil's advocate, I genuinely think it is because Reese has a genuine appreciation and love for the priestesses, and he knows where Gwen came from. And so he's like, you can't mess with her. She's a newer member of the library.
I did a whole thing today because if you read I'm sorry, I'm gonna go on this tangent for like a half a second. If you read A Court of Silver Flames, chapter what?
Sam just put in the Discord that Therion is more interesting than Rune.
Is she trying to die today? Anyways, okay, moving
No,
on.
it's fine. She's
Okay.
entitled to her opinion, Avery.
She's entitled to her wrong opinion.
It's not
anyway.
a wrong opinion. It's just an opinion.
Darian is not more interesting than Rune.
It's a different level of interest, and I love Rune. It's a different level.
I am moving on and talking about Gwen right now, okay?
Okay.
You don't often let me get on my Gwen soapbox.
Go
So
get
just
it.
let me-
I'm telling you to get on your. Listen, you are gonna have to. You get on your Gwen soapbox all next year.
That's because she's the love of my life. Anyways, okay. Gwyneth Verdara, the love of my life. I have this entire thing called the complementary mates theory, where if you look at the three brothers, Reese, Cassian, and Asriel, you have, and you look at their mates specifically. So Feyre, Nesta, and Asriel's unknown mate. When Feyre is best friends with Cassian because they share a similar backstory in that they had to fight for their survival and take care of the people that they love around them.
Right.
Yeah. That is how they bonded. That is why they're best friends.
Yeah.
Cassian's mate is Nesta, who, if you look at it, is incredibly similar to Asriel in their upbringing. They both suffered trauma. They both have they both have this like lordling upbringing where they're thought to be something, but they're not.
Right.
Nesta had her entire situation ripped out from under her.
Right.
And had to adapt and did not adapt well and responded in anger.
Right.
And Asriel's anger is all cold, but it's the same kind of anger that Nesta feels. It's all very reserved. It's very rarely like a blow up, but when it is, it's a blow up.
Yeah.
So if you look at them, so if then you go and you look at the two potentials for Asriel, which are Elaine and Gwen, in my opinion, those are the two potentials. Then you look at the last remaining brother. The last remaining brother is Rhysand.
Mm-hmm.
Which of those two potentials most closely relates to Rhysand? And your answer is going to be Gwen. And the reason your answer is going to be Gwen is because Rhys and Gwen are both part high fae, part something else. Rhys and Gwen both lost their sister because their sister was murdered.
Stop it, Claire. Stop it. You hate that more than anyone, Miss Claire.
Claire, do not even. Do not. I will come
That
through
little
this
troll.
computer.
That little troll.
And
No,
you know it.
I mean, I think what you're saying. It's just the other thing too is like, and Claire said it. It's this shared trauma. Like
Yes.
every mate has shared. Like they have shared trauma.
Rhysand was sexually assaulted for 50 years. If anybody can understand Gwen's trauma, it is Rhysand.
Well, I also, yeah. I mean, I hope she kind of connects that dot because I felt like that dot could have been connected with Nesta and Rhys, and it never was.
Right.
So, or at least it hasn't been yet, and it has the potential. But yeah, no, she's. I don't think Avery, you were never an Elreal shipper, were you?
No. I was okay. I wasn't. I wanted Asriel happy, and the only logical explanation until Gwen showed up was Elaine.
Yes.
But I also really loved Illusion, so I didn't buy into the fact that Asriel was going to end up with Elaine because I love Illusion. So I was like, Illusion's going to happen. She's going to have to introduce somebody new for Asriel because that's too good.
The other thing you have to remember is like, so Avery and I had, and this is why I love also talking to people who read Throne of Glass while it was coming out. Avery and I read ACOTAR very differently. So I read ACOTAR, and then I had about 2-3, almost 3 months before the release of Silver Flames. So I spent that whole time being like, oh, Elaine and Az could be together because of Frost and Starlight. And then got to Silver Flames 2 to 3 months later, and I was like, no, this isn't it, because Elaine was barely in it. Avery had a shorter time window, so her view is a little different than mine. Just like people who tell me all the time, like, hey, when I read Throne of Glass and Heir of Fire came out, I was like, no, it's Chaol. Like, a lot of people were very convinced on Chaol. So it's just our reading experiences were different.
Yeah.
And that is another thing that not manipulates, but it does change our opinion of certain ships. Sure. Like, I read Throne of Glass knowing that Dorian was not it, Chaol was not it. It was like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Too hot, too cold, Rowan was just right.
Right.
If you didn't read it that way, you wouldn't have that experience.
Right.
It's the same thing.
And then, there's one other thing I was going to say. It's left my head, so just, anyway, we'll move on, and then it might pop back in my head. Okay. So that's Clotho.
Mm-hmm.
Meryl is next. Meryl in English means sea bright or sparkling sea, which I found incredibly interesting.
That is interesting.
Relation to Gwen.
Yeah. If I'm going to be honest,
Amanda,
though, I think
she don't stop saying Brireal.
She's just trolling us now because we were mean about Therion. I will say, I'm going to be totally honest. I think she picked Meryl's name because it's like an older name.
That's fair.
You know?
I think Meryl is somehow related to Jezebel Roga, but that's a whole other tangent.
I don't think so at all. But I also know where that theory comes from. So it's possible. There are certain theories I just choose to be stubborn about.
That's fine. I have thoughts and opinions, and I haven't wholly convinced you on Duskcourt yet, but I'll get you there. Don't worry.
I am not convinced on Duskcourt, but I
know.
I have a feeling it's going to happen, and it's fine.
I'll get you there. Don't worry. Okay. Anyways, the last three I have, besides Koschei the Deathless, which is a Slavic myth that you guys should all go look up.
Yeah.
Are Deirdre, Anarchy, and Rosalind, who are the other three priestesses that do the training that go up against the Valkyries.
Yes.
So Deirdre is Irish. It means broken-hearted or sorrowful.
Mm-hmm.
Anarchy is Scandinavian, meaning favor or grace, and Rosalind is French, meaning red-haired.
So it's like Rowan.
Yeah.
Love that.
Okay, and then locations, I only pulled 4, but if you want me to look up any, I can. Valaris in Latin means veil. Adriata in Latin is east of Italy, relating to the Adriatic Sea.
Yes.
Um, Valahan is closely spelled to Valhalla, but is not Valhalla, but it is with all of the other
Yeah.
Norse myth going on. Like, come on.
Yeah.
And then finally, Illyria. Now let's talk briefly about Illyria. So Illyria is actually a place, guys.
I don't know if everyone knows that.
So Illyria is in the western part of the Balkan Peninsula. So if you want to look and see what the Illyrian mountains look like, look up snow-capped Western Balkan mountains. No shit. It's what it looks like.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
I think out of all the books, like you can tell with Throne of Glass, it was a lot of like she made it up type of a thing. ACOTAR felt like it was very based in European history, historical information, lots of different European mythologies thrown into that one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just an observation.
Here, can I share screen? Will you let me share screen?
Well,
that's a lot. That's fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say because of the way it's set up, I don't know if it'll work.
You should pull up some of the Balkan mountains.
You want me to pull them up?
Yeah. I think it's the Alps actually. I could be wrong, but I think it's the Alps.
Oh, this is not what I imagined at all. Wait, let me look them up with snow.
Yeah, look them up with snow. That helps.
Oh, yeah, yep, that looks about right.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I'll show everyone. Yep. There we go. That's what it looks like. It's very snowy. I mean, that looks very much like, oh, look, it even has a little cabin in the corner.
Yeah, so it's the western portion of the Balkan Peninsula, which is Albania and oh god, what else? Albania, the Balkan Mountains, the Alps are there.
That just
Bosnia
like
and Herzegovina, Montenegro, Macedonia, Greece is at the bottom, Romania's in there, Slovenia. All these places make up the Balkan Peninsula, and the Balkan Peninsula is what was formerly known as Illyria, and is where the great library of Parthos.
Yes, because that is an actual place.
It is.
For anyone wondering. That's the thing. That's what it's so interesting about Sarah is like a lot of these things were our actual places. I mean, all I did was look up Rune's name for anyone wondering. But I can tell you that I know based off of what people have told me, and I think it is 100% true, is that the map of Lunathian is based off of New Orleans. That's what a lot of people believe. That's not like confirmed or anything, but it is.
No, but it definitely looks like it.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it. So it's just very interesting that there is all. It definitely, ACOTAR and Crescent City have more like location, real historical stuff based off of it, whereas I feel like Throne of Glass was more like, I'm gonna make this up a little bit.
Yeah.
Someone said field trip. Yeah, I'm down.
Sounds good.
We'll do like a whole Illyrian field trip. Okay.
That's everything I have pulled.
Okay, well then I'm just gonna say what Rune's name. But the reason I almost said Reese's name is because Rune's name is actually spelled Rhyn.
No. Okay.
And it means great and mighty.
Whale.
Yeah. But I think the thing about Crescent City is I think it's a little different because the names are modern. I mean, Fury, obviously, in my opinion, it's very obvious is based off of the Fates of, the Furies.
The Furies,
yeah. Sorry, not the Fates.
The Furies are Meg and Alecto and what's the other one's name?
I can't think.
It's not Atropos, is it?
No, I don't think. Oh, actually, it might be.
I think it's Atropos. Hold on.
Yeah. And then Bryce's name, I believe she's already said that it was just when she was, for anyone who doesn't know the story of like how, it's Claire just put it in. the chat.
Persephone.
Yes, Tisiphone.
I got there.
For anyone who's never heard the story of like how Crescent City came to be, I think she said it in a live on her YouTube, but it essentially, like, what happened was she was on tour for, I believe it was a Throne of Glass book. I don't think it was an Akatar book. And I think it was Queen of Shadows. Might have been Empire Storms. No, sorry, not Empire Storms. Might have been Air of Fire. But anyways, she was on tour. She was on the plane. She was listening to, because Sarah listens to a lot of like cinematic scores when she's writing. I don't know if she still does, but she did at the time. And she was listening to a certain song, and I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but we can find it. And she had the vision of the drop. And she knew that Bryce's name was Bryce. And it was the only name she knew at the time. And then later on, I mean, she has said this, that Hunt was not originally in the story. However, when the incident happens in Earth and Blood, Hunt just appeared and it was game over from there. Like,
Yeah.
it was done. It was a sealed deal. Not to say that Connor was ever supposed to be the love interest. I don't think he was. I think he was always dead. But it was a sealed deal. So I think some of these names are a little more happenstance. I think some of the I think you and I both agree that the names of the Asteri and the names of like Apollyon and Adis probably have a little bit of meaning. But Waking Up from Oblivion, thank you. I knew there was a song. Claire, can you just put that in the spiral chat in the court just so I can have it? We'll make that the song for the drop. Just gonna go ahead and put that in there. Yeah, so I think that's the interesting thing about that one. Rune's name, I have a few theories on why his name is Rune. One being she just pulled it, well, she didn't pull it out of thin air. She actually liked the name. The second being she did want to tie it to Throne of Glass. So I think it just depends. Thank you, Claire. I don't know what else. Bryce, Danica's. Does that have a mean just the spelling is just so different? Oh, like rune and rune? No, I mean, rune with the U-H-N is a popular spelling of rune.
Ethan is Hebrew in origin and most often means strong, safe, solid, and firm.
Okay, so I have fallen down the rabbit hole of Thea. Oh my god, why am I blanking on his name? Is it Peleus? Peleus. I have fallen down that rabbit hole.
Welcome to it!
Yeah, and I will tell you that you don't really get a lot of like conclusive information, because this is how my crazy theory before HOSAB came about, which is, again, this is obviously before we had a solid timeline. But I was convinced, because I did look up Thea and Peleus's name. Peleus's name is tied to Greek mythology, but specifically water. And so I was like, oh my god, water. And then I can't remember what Thea's name is meaning, but it felt like it was tied to, I think it's light or something like that. And so my
ancient planet in the solar system.
Yeah. So I had this crazy theory that Peleus and Thea's daughter. Wait, was that right?
She's one of the 12 Titans, children of the Earth goddess Gaia and the sky god Uranus.
Okay.
Offspring is Helios, Selene, and Eos. So that makes sense.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. So I had this crazy theory that Peleus and Thea. This is psycho. Peleus, because he's the general. He was the general for Thea. I was like, what if Peleus, because everyone at the time thought Thea was tied to Rhys and Feyre. I was like, what if Peleus is tied to Varian and Amren? And so it's Varian and Amren's son with Rhys and Feyre's daughter. It makes no sense.
Oh, that's interesting.
What, Peleus' name is tied to Greek mythology?
No, sorry, I looked up Finn, like Fionn, how they spell the High King's name.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Irish, Scottish, Gaelic, meaning white or fair-haired. But that's only interesting because Gwyn's name in Welsh also means white.
Wait, remind me again who Finn is. Finn is
High King Finn, Queen Thea's king, before she makes the crossing.
Did she not? I don't remember in Hosab. Did she say she just didn't get along with him? Was there ever like clarification on that?
I don't know. She took the trove with her and the Star Sword and General Peleus and her daughter.
Okay. This is one of those moments where I would call Avery right now and Avery would get really pissed at me. So you guys get to watch this live. What if he's Adis?
High King Finn is Adis. Making Prithian the chasm.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, sure. Wait! Oh my god! I didn't even think about that! Wait! Hold on. Okay, hold on.
I mean, Finn is dead, right?
Hold on. Please hold.
Claire!
Claire.
Send her the link right now.
Do you want to get on a Zoom really quick, Claire?
Claire, do you want to get in here? We need to discuss this. Guys, this is what Theory Thursday is supposed to be.
Okay, hold on.
Claire, High King Finn might be Adis and Prithian might be the chasm. Get in here.
I didn't think about that part. I was just thinking about Adis.
Send her the link.
Okay, I'll send her the link.
You're about to be live on YouTube, girl. Get ready.
It's fine.
That means she did end up in hell. That means when she was gunning for hell and for Adis, she ended up in hell.
Wait, hold on. I'm going to put a hole in this because if we look at Earth and Blood, he went back to the chasm because the chasm is so cold. Oh, shoot.
You're literally proving what a hilarious person.
Do you really think he's hiding in the mountains?
He could be in Ramiel. We don't know. He's not in the prison, but he could be in Ramiel. Because remember how Eris talks about how there are underground tunnels that were always in the middle, and and then we know that the prison cells are made up from the underground tunnels that were always in the prison.
You know what? I hate this theory because I hate this theory because that means I don't get to go to hell with Aelin. So no, I'm saying no.
No, because that does not negate Terracin. It doesn't negate Terracin.
How does it not negate Terracin?
It doesn't negate Terracin.
Oh, wait, we still have to get to Apollyon because I'm telling you, that's Hunt's father. I'm going to back up because I agree with Becca. I don't think that it's hell, but I do think it is possible that Adis ruled Prythian while they were keeping an eye on the Asteri. I do think that was possible. Because
there is no longer a High King, so...
Right. So then where has Adis been this whole time? He's still ruling the chasm.
Yeah.
Rune Mountains is in Throne of Glass.
Which he could be doing from Ramiel. We don't know.
Oh, no, I don't think that. I'm gonna axe that, but I do think it is possible. I do think it is possible that he was ruling because okay, wait, jog my memory.
Okay,
crossing happened 15,000 years ago in Crescent City.
Correct. Which is the same time when the Demon Wars happened in A Court of Silver Flames. 15,000 years ago.
So this is what I'm trying to say. So High King Finn ruled with Thea.
Hold on.
Yeah, go get the book. Silver Flames. You want me to get Earth and Blood? Or is Claire getting in here? Does someone need me? Am I fit? There we go. Hi, babe.
Hi.
Okay, so help jog my memory here. So
hold on, I'm pulling it up.
Okay.
She's pulling up Silver Flames. I need the Crescent City side of this. Okay.
Okay.
High King Finn.
Yes. I currently don't like Finn because of theories I have on Finn.
Oh, so she really hates this.
Wait, no, but I don't hate this because then it would make me not hate Finn. But I do have questions about it. Because then why didn't Adis step in?
This
Because
is-
then that would make because then that would make Helena Adis's daughter. Why didn't he step in when Peleus? Thea was already killed at that point. And then also, well, I mean, I guess if he is Finn, then also we don't know what happened to the second daughter. And
Yes.
Adis makes a very clear distinction that he doesn't know what happened to her.
Yes. So Avery thinks that it could be the chasm. I don't think that. I think that she thinks Prithian's the chasm. I don't think so.
I think there's a possibility it could be.
She's looking it up.
sold.
I'm not going to listen.
I'm reading through the chapter where Adis is present in
Okay.
Hostav.
Okay, because what I'm thinking is it possible that High King Finn is just Adis? Wait, what does Finn mean again? White-haired?
Means white and fair haired.
So if High King Finn was ruling as a, like, undercover while the Asteri were there, and that's
And
how
our
the Demon Wars happened,
Oh.
and it was
Okay.
Adis, and then he like, Thea flees. Wait, hold on. So what if, okay, just, I don't know, theory time. What if, theory time.
Theory time.
Gonna totally, like, derail this for a second. What if High King Finn, Adis became the king of Prithian because he was ruling over to make sure the Asteri didn't mess all this up.
Well, but
okay?
but what if
Okay,
what
okay,
if
okay,
what
okay,
if
okay,
what if High
Wait,
King
hold on,
Finn
hold
was
on.
never High King Finn? What if it was High Queen Thea?
Right. Okay. So, like, I'm just saying. But what if
And Finn was just happened to be married to
Yes. Okay. So then, what if Adis was like, the Asteri are getting really crazy because Hal did try to pick chin to all of this.
Can I please read this part?
No. Give me a second. Let me get this whole thing out. Okay. So then, what if he, like, sent Thea through the crossing to save her, and then and then he left because it wasn't his world. The chasm is his world.
Oh, and it's brought up that Adis showed up too late at the end of Earth and Blood.
Yes.
It said that he came too late.
Yes. So he sent her through to save her. It's history has gotten it wrong.
Well, and then I don't think that Finn was ever technically like.
I need to
This
give
is a
you the
Team Mork
Akatar
thing?
side of stuff.
Okay. Okay, give me
God bless.
I'm like, just let me get my theory out, okay? Because I'm just getting it out.
Okay. So this is 553, chapter 55 of A Court of Silver Flames.
of
We all know what
frickin'
chapter
chapter
55
is.
means. Okay. So beyond seeing Briellen, you said you also saw something when you first touched the harp. Nesta had briefly explained it when they'd arrived. I think whoever used it last did something horrible with it. Maybe trapped the people who once lived on the prison island in the walls somehow. Is that possible? Doubt shown in Reese's eyes. Nesta asked, what is the wild hunt? She'd also told him of their encounter with Lanthus in the presence of the Autumn Court soldiers. Cassian had convinced Reese not to engage with them, at least until they could deal with Briellen. When Reese had raised his shield around the prison once more, they'd already vanished. Honestly, I thought it mere myth that Lanthus remembers such a thing. Well, there's always room for lying, I suppose, but on the off chance he was telling the truth, remember Lanthus is Valg.
Yeah.
That'd make him more than 15,000 years old. So what is it then? He pulls a book of legends off the shelf. The Fae were not the first masters of this world. According to our oldest legends, most now forgotten, we were created by beings who were near gods and monsters, the Daglin. They ruled for millennia and enslaved us and the humans. They were petty and cruel and drank the magic of the land like wine. Some strains of the mythology claim that one of the Fae heroes who rose up to overthrow them was Finn, who was given the great sword Gwydion by the high priestess Olenna, who had dipped it into the cauldron itself. Finn and Gwydion overthrew the Daglin, a millennium of peace followed, and the lands were divided into rough territories that were the precursors to the courts. But at the end of those 1,000 years, they were at each other's throats on the brink of war. Finn unified them and set himself above them as High King, the first and only High King this land has ever had. What happened to the High King? Finn was betrayed by his queen, who had been leader of her own territory, and by his dearest friend, who was his general. They killed him, taking some of his bloodline's most powerful and precious weapons, and then out of the chaos that followed, the 7 High Lords rose, and the courts have been in place ever since. Does
Wait.
Amryn remember this? Only vaguely now. Finn, from what I've gleaned, she arrived From what I've gleaned, she arrived during those years before Finn and Gwydion rose and went into the prison during the Age of Legends, the time when this land was full of heroic figures who were keen to hunt down the last member of their former master's race.
Okay,
They
hold on.
feared
Pause.
Amryn, believing
Pause.
her one of the enemies,
Pause.
and threw her into the prison. Hold on. When she emerged again, she missed Finn's fall and the loss of Gwydion and found the High Lord's ruling.
Okay, pause. 2 things. Number 1, have we talked about the fact that there's 7 High Lords and 7 layers of hell? Probably not. Number 2, oh, okay. Figured Team Mort had. Okay. So just throwing that out there. Number 2, find it very interesting. Someone said, didn't Adis and they have, yes. I agree with Claire that I think history, because when you compare the 2 books, it doesn't line up. But I do find it very interesting that on page 782 of Sky and Breath, Regulus says, this all seems very familiar, doesn't it? A starborn queen who aligned with the Prince of Hell, who trusted him deeply and ultimately paid the price.
Well, but we do know for a fact that like Thea and Adis were together,
Yes.
whether or not. But it is also, that is interesting, especially considering that my mind just froze for a second.
No, it's okay. I'm now trying to find the passage where Bryce is looking at the things and
They also talk about Narbin in here. This is like where they bring up Narbin, and then they talk about the Daglin delighted in terrorizing the Fae and humans under their control, and the Wild Hunt was a way to keep them all in line.
I'm gonna grab another book from my shelf. Please hold.
It's a terrible history. Much of it might be elaborated by myths. A 4th object in the vision, but it was in shadow. Was there ever a 4th part of the trove? All I could make out was a bit of ancient bone.
Oh, Avery, you might appreciate this.
Busting this out.
Hell yeah.
Oh.
Because nope, this is when she gets bit by him. Sexy. It's like in the 40s. Hold on. Oh, no. Oh, 42, bless. First thing, we're not friends. I'm still training you. Shut up.
Oh my god.
Where is the, you know what? Let me pull it up on my Kindle. It's way easier. I don't know why I grabbed the physical books. I am trying to look up because the one thing, so there's Demon Wars in Akatar, right?
Yes.
Do you know where else there's Demon Wars?
In Air of Fire and Queen of Shadows?
Mm-hmm. So, in Air of Fire... Oh, God. Rowan, don't call her your aunt.
That would also explain...
You know what? Actually, let me search it this way. Here we go. Okay, so this is an Air of Fire. This is in chapter 35. Where does this start? I heard one story. So this is from Emrys. Okay. I heard one story years ago from a fool who thought he could cross the Cambrian mountains and enter Maeve's realm without an invitation. He was on his back, barely clinging to life thanks to Maeve's wild wolves in the passes. So we brought him here for the healers. He had a fierce infection, so by the time I thought it might have been a fever dream, but he told me he found a cave at the base of Bald Mountain. He camped there because it was rainy and cold, blah, blah. He drifted off. he spied something swimming. This is obviously the thing that Aelin and Rowan fight. Okay. Then he says, the fool learned that night was this. The creature was almost as old as the mountain itself. It claimed to have been born in another world, but had slipped into this one when the gods were looking elsewhere. It preyed upon Fae and humans until the mighty Fae warriors challenged it. And before the warrior was through, he carved one of the creature's eyes out for spite or sport, cursed the beast, and as long as the mountain stood, the creature would be forced to be in it. The monster was from another realm. It had been left here during the Valg Wars, when the demons had opened enclosed portals to another world at will. How horrific, blah, blah, blah. It dwelled, da, 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 da. Then Rowan says, who was the warrior of the eye that carved out? Fool if I know, but the beast, but the language it spoke was Fae, an archaic form of the old language, almost indecipherable. Basically, the reason I read this is because it doesn't give a clear timeline like the others do, but it clearly indicates that there were Valg demon-esque wars, and there is a creature under the thing. And I guess I'm just trying to connect.
I think Queen of Shadows too, the demon war.
The demon, yeah, because the demon wars are brought up in Queen of Shadows because of when they're under the truth, the cave, the god of lies, god of truth, god of truth. That's what it is. But the other thing too that I wanted to bring up was, so Lanthus showed up in Silver Flames.
Yes.
Around the time potentially that the Asteri showed up.
Yeah, he's about 15,000 years old if he remembers the Wild Hunt.
Okay, so he's about 15,000 years old.
The crossing happened about 15,000 years ago.
Right.
The Demon Wars happened about 15,000 years ago when the Jacqueline were ruling over the Fae and the humans. It's not Prithian, but it's Prithian and the continent, so it's Akaton. We don't have an Aurelia situation. We don't have a name for all of it.
Hold on, I'm trying. Okay, so then the planets that Bryce looks at in chapter 72 of Sky and Breath. So there's an aquatic planet. We don't know what that one is.
Hold on. I have the planets drawn out.
Oh, Therion's home? Therion?
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have a discussion about it, guys.
She read the note beside it, blood. Citizens learn our methods too quickly. We lost a unified front.
I think we determined, Sarah, when we were talking about it, that Aelin's Fall was 12 different locations.
Yes. One of them was the water world.
Right. It was water. So it's green, sun-drenched world, and then water, ice, darkness, light, towers, silence, Midgard, rain, green wind, oceans with no land, Prithian, and then Aurelia.
So according to chapter, because I'm trying to look at the dates. So Ephraxia, I guess is how you would say that. Okay. Iphraxia, Ephraxia, conquered 680, lost 720. It says citizens learned our methods too quickly. We lost many in the unified front, evacuated. That to me feels like Throne of Glass potentially, because they evacuated very quick. I mean, they didn't stay for very long. Also, Maeve was clearly there, so they probably were like, okay, bye. They already got their own issues. Also, Throne of Glass was the only world that actually took a piece of the word gate. No one else did that. So they probably were a little, potentially, I don't know. Midgard was conquered in 17003.
Renthar was terminated in 1407.
So I guess I'm just trying to and then Hell, they lost in 17001, which would line up with Prithian, because if they lost it in 1701 and then they conquered the other one in 03, that would make sense for Adis to be in Prithian.
Yeah, because if he went to Prithian to warn them, married Thea, who was High Queen, because I don't think Finn. I think my current theory on Finn is that Finn is a piece of shit if he's real.
I just never thought about the fact that Adis could have been High King Finn.
It would be really interesting because we also don't see any mention of, when we talk when we talk about Thea, I don't believe we see any mention of her being previously with somebody, which would be something that Adis would know.
I have 284 Akasif others as well written on my paper, but I'm looking at 284 and I'm not seeing why I would have written that.
That's another good point. Becca brought up the cats in the library.
Oh, yeah.
On the 5th floor.
I mean, there's the Basque cats in Tower of Dawn too, but
Oh, yeah.
but
Wouldn't it be interesting if all of the libraries tied to a different realm of hell?
oh, I think they do, don't you?
Oh, they
Oh,
have to.
They
right?
have to.
Oh, yeah. For sure. But also it's very interesting because like the thing with Adis is Adis chooses to appear as a cat,
Yes.
because I've had conversations with people where they think he has to be a cat. He doesn't. He just
No.
chooses to be a cat.
Yes.
And they can only
And he says that.
Yeah. Yeah, he says it in the first book. Or no, Jezebel says it. Well, yeah, he brings up that he
They both
chooses
do.
to appear as a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Jezebel talks about how the princes of hell can only get in through as talking animals, which is just, I'm like,
I'm just
all right.
so okay. Backing up. Potentially hiking Finn?
Potentially.
Willing to give it like at least a 20-30% possibility?
I think 2030 is high, but yeah. No
What, you
more.
think it's lower? I mean, it let's be honest. Do I really think it's going to happen? Probably not.
It's a crack theory. It's 100%.
Yeah, it's a crack theory. But I mean, like,
we don't have enough evidence for it yet.
I mean, I'd love it.
Yeah.
I think that would be really cool.
I'm just trying to figure out how Adis fits in all this because he definitely does.
How does okay, wait. So how does the Great Library of Parthos work? Because what if the Great Library of Parthos is like a traveling library and it exists in all of the worlds, and it's a way for you to, it's like a word game.
So I don't think you're wrong, but if I correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding of the Library of Parthos, which is explained in Earth and Blood, is that it was the humans' library before the Asteri arrived, and all the priestesses saved the books, or they basically sacrificed themselves to save as much as they could. Not to say that they couldn't have been the same books that were in Perithian or Aurelia. Like maybe
Right.
there was a bit of a crossover, but those books are supposed to be just from the human world. Before they're supposed to be just from Midgard before the Vanir showed up.
Yeah, it was like the human library. Although it is very interesting. Well, no, that goes into something else.
I mean,
Never mind.
Were there question? I know Fae are Vanir, but were there Fae prior to the arrival of Vanir
No.
at all?
No.
Midgard was a human planet. Humans were the original species on Midgard.
Yeah.
And then the Vanir came in. So it makes it
So,
seem
so far there's been humans in all three places, regardless.
Yes.
yes. But Midgard started as like a human planet. And then I can't remember if it specifies what order people came in, but it's just like, and then the Vanir came.
Yes.
So it would also be interesting to think of it as, I always think of when I think of Crescent City, I think of in The Witcher, like the shifting,
Yes.
or I forget what it's called, but when everybody like comes over. And so it would be really interesting if like all of the portals opened and everyone came in.
Because
at, like, the same time.
and to like totally play devil's advocate, it's not even very clear in Throne of Glass if the Fae were native. They do now. They do say, and we went over this in the podcast, that they do say in Chapter 6 that there were tons of creatures in Aurelia. There were nymphs and trolls and the goblins and all this stuff. So they very well could have been native, but they always make it sound like Brandon was the first, and he was Fae.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's not very clear in Akatar either. It makes it sound like they've been there from the beginning, but
Right, Fae and human alike.
yeah.
And they were both enslaved by the Daglin.
Yes.
Both Fae and human. And had to participate in the wild hunt.
Yes. Yeah. So I don't know. Like, I think if I had to take an educated guess, I do think the Fae were native to Prythia and Aurelia. I do.
Well, and I think See, I think that at least they were around a much longer time, because I think that's why, even though all of them timeline wise line up, Crescent City is more advanced, is because it was a human world solely for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
And so they didn't have magic. And so they advanced in a different way than Aurelia and Prithian did.
I think you're totally right on that.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I don't know. I'm very curious to see how she ties it all together, because I think Adis is for sure showing up in the next book.
He has to.
He has
Well,
to.
and that's the thing. I think and it sucks. Adis has like the answer to every question.
And he's not even there.
So does Jezebel, and we couldn't talk to either of them because then it would give away who was actually in Bryce's apartment.
Do you think they have a drawing of Finn in Prithian?
I'm sure they do. He pulls out an entire book.
Probably.
I mean, all it's got to be is Bryce to take a look at it, and that'll get our answer. Because she'll recognize things. She can,
oh, yeah.
And she can. This is the other thing. So, Throne of Glass brings up that there's an archaic form of the old language of the Fae, and then obviously there's the old language of the Fae that's Rowan's tattoo. So, there's two forms of it. I don't know which form Perithian knows. I assume it's the newer version, question mark? Probably not. Maybe not. I don't know.
I assume that it's the newer simply from the fact of it's the one that was spoken 15,000 years ago. So I can't imagine them having that one and then this one. Because then also, if the archaic language not everybody could understand in Throne of Glass, then that limits our ability to go to Terrorson.
Yeah, I would. You know what? I'm going to be honest. We can just eliminate that there was an archaic form.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the old language of the Fae crosses all three. Just
right?
the old language of the Fae. Yeah, like it's because obviously when it was spoken 15,000 years ago, it came to Crescent City in the crossing.
Yeah.
So that's how it got there.
Oh my god.
So
my brain can't process all of this.
So technically, the old language of the Fae for Crescent City came from Prithian. So it's
right.
How did Throne of Glass get that language? How at what point did somebody cross over and bring that language somewhere else?
Wait, question. Lanthus, what did he speak?
Hold on.
The other thing too is
he spoke in a language before he.
Well, and then once I felt like, and I could be making this up, Avery, but I felt like when Nesta she strummed the harp. No. When she got the vision with Lanthus, like once Lanthus like showed her being a queen and stuff, she could understand him a little clearer.
Okay. All right. Hold on. I'm gonna read this to you. So
the Kelpie did speak in the old language. I do remember that. And she could translate that, right? Nesta could.
So this is what from when she scries for the harp.
Memory, and tells her what it's.
Okay.
The harp sat atop a large rendering of an 8-pointed star.
Right.
Its cardinal point stretched longer than the other 4, with the harp situated directly in the heart of the star. The hair on the back of her neck stood. She could have sworn the blood in her body reversed course. She had a creeping feeling she'd been brought here, not by the cauldron or the mother or the harp, by something vaster, something that stretched into the stars carved around them. Its cool, light hands guided her wrists as she picked up the harp. Her fingers brushed the icy metal. The harp hummed against her skin as if it still held its final note from the last time it had been used. And then all of this is in italics. They screamed, pounding on the stone that hadn't been there a moment before, pleading for their children's sakes, begging to be let out, let out, let out. Nesta had the sensation of falling, humbling through air and stars and time. It was a trap, and our people were too blind to see it. Eons and stars and darkness plunged around her. The Fae clawed at stone, tearing their nails on rock where there had once been a door. But the way back was now forever sealed. And they begged as they tried to pass their children through the solid wall. And hold on.
No. Pause really quick. Pause really quick.
I was going to. I just wanted to finish the freaking sentence.
Heather, I just want to make sure you tell Lauren that said that the gate was closed forever in Prithian. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. But the way back was now forever sealed, and they begged as they tried to pass their children through the solid wall, if only their children could be spared. Light flashed, blinding. When it cleared, she stood in a white stoned palace, a great hall where 5 thrones graced a die.
Wait,
The
5?
sixth, yes, the 6th throne in the center was occupied by a pointy-eared crone. This is the palace of the human queens. A golden
Oh.
spiked crown rested on her head, blazing like the hate in her black eyes. The fey crone stiffened, blue velvet robes shifting with the movement. Her eyes clear despite her wrinkled face sharpened right on Nesta. You have the harp, the queen said, voice like crinkling paper, and Nesta knew who she stood frozen before, what crown lay on her thin white hair. Briallen's gnarled fingers curled on the arms of her throne, and her gaze narrowed. The queen smiled, revealing a mouth full of half-rotted teeth.
Okay, hold on.
Nesta-
I'm going to pause. Can we go to where Lanthus is talking? Because I want to know if she can translate that or not.
Yep, hold on.
Because
Yeah, no, it's okay, hang on.
I'm just trying to remember if
The door to Atlantis' cell lay open.
Well, it's not just the witches, Amanda. It's also the priestesses and Throne of Glass. And
Is this what your companion prefers? What are you? A witch, she breathed from Orid's dark heart. Hold on, so.
Also, I'm trying to find where it is, but we do know why everything closed.
Okay.
Permanently.
You thought you're okay. It was too late for running, at least for him. You thought yourself so clever with the ash mirror seed, Lanthus seed, voice echoing around them.
So he's just speaking in the common tongue.
Right now, hold on.
Right?
When she ordered the harp to let her go, it wanted to play. What if the harp had extended? There is a name I have not heard in a long while, but you do not smell of Orid's heaviness, its despair, your scent, a pity you've marred such a scent with Cassian's stink. I can barely distinguish anything on you besides his essence.
Okay, but they're both can understand him.
Yeah, right now, yeah.
Okay, so he's speaking in the common tongue. Okay, so
Okay,
which is fine.
I'll tell you if he speaks in a different language. Give me a second.
Okay, I'm just wondering. Well, there's 2 things about Prythian that I feel like have never been explained. One, that all the humans believed that iron made them weak, the Fae, which is Throne of Glass. That's not Akatar. So that goes with the theory that Avery said about someone crossed over, and I do think it was a Fae. The second thing is,
the Asterian Fae, perhaps.
Exactly. I just think so. And there is no firm date. It just says thousands of years ago in Throne of Glass. But there was a crossing, or there was when you get to Tower of Dawn, you know there's a crossing. But, there was definitely Fae that were from the Demon Wars / Valgors, which another whole discussion is, are the Demon Wars and the Valgor Wars the same thing in Throne of Glass? I don't think they are.
Okay, so he's not speaking in another language, but can we talk about this for a second? This is when he recognizes her as Nesta.
Right.
So he says, "We heard about you down here. You're the one the sea and the wind and the earth whispered of. You took from the cauldron itself. You do not even know what you could do. Come, I shall show you. Come with me, Queen of Queens, and we shall return what was once lost. We shall rebuild to what we were before the golden legions of the Fae cast off their chains and overthrew us. We shall resurrect the wild
say that
hunt.
again?
We shall rebuild to what we were before the golden legions of the Fae cast off their chains and overthrew us. We shall resurrect the wild hunt and ride rampant through the night. We shall build palaces of ice and flame, palaces of darkness and starlight. Magic shall flow untethered again."
Well, the magic shall... Okay, breaking this down sentence by sentence. Magic shall flow unfeathered again is probably because at one point High King had all the powers. And then it
I think it's also tethered by the cauldron.
Yeah, that would make sense. Because then eventually it was spread to each High Lord. So, okay, fine. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. The beginning part about the gold?
Yeah. We shall rebuild to what we were before the golden legions of the Fae cast off their chains and overthrew us.
Do the Asteri have pointy ears?
No. But we don't know what
We
they
don't
look
know.
like
We
in their
don't know
true
their-
form because they take the form of
Yeah, because for some reason Regulus appears as a teenager.
like a weird.
It's really weird. We don't know what they actually look like.
So it's kind of like Erewhon, where Erewhon appeared as like a creepy old guy and then suddenly was hot.
right. Exactly.
Okay.
We shall resurrect the wild hunt and ride rampant through the night. That's kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah.
We shall build palaces of ice and flame, Sarah. Ice and flame. Palaces of darkness and starlight.
Okay, I want to read the Liv's comments really quick. So she said Golden Legions of the Fae, is that Thea? Maybe.
Possibly.
And then she says, similar to how the magic is monitored and stopped by the towers in Town of Glass. Potentially, but I think it's more the Fae that did I call it the crossing.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of us do in Tower of Dawn.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's this next part. Nesta could see the portrait Lanthus wove into the air around them. She saw herself on a black throne, a matching crown in her unbound hair, enormous onyx beasts scaled like those she'd seen on the hewn city pillars, lay at the foot of the die. Ataraxia leaned against her throne, and on her other side, Lanthus sat there, his hand laced through hers. Their kingdom was endless, their palace built of pure magic that lived and thrived around them. The harp sat behind them on an altar, the mask too, but the golden crown wasn't there. It was on.
Go back to the beginning of that's what you read, the first two sentences.
The part where he's weaving.
The description of the throne and the beasts.
She saw herself on a black throne, a matching crown in her unbound hair. Enormous onyx beasts scaled like those she'd seen on the hewn city pillars lay at the foot of the die.
Are they hellhounds in Hewn City?
Hewn City, yes.
So they're like the word hounds.
Yes. I've always said that.
Love that. Okay. Well, I'm just trying to connect the dots here because word hounds are going back to Throne of Glass. Those are beings that were created because, rewind really quick. We haven't really talked about Crown of Midnight yet, but I think Crown of Midnight's going to hold some answers because remember in Crown of Midnight when you go into the tunnels and there was all those people because they were doing all those experiments, those are not because of the Valve. Yeah, exactly. Well, no. This is the tunnel in the library.
I know.
Different tunnel, but yeah, secret tunnel as well.
Like
But what's interesting about that one is I don't think those creatures were Valg. I think they were created because of the word marks that the Valg had taught the king. Okay, so the word hounds. Okay, so we're on the same page that it's not Valg. Okay, I'm just making sure.
Okay.
But I can't remember if the word hounds in Queen of Shadows were scaled.
I don't know.
That's a looking thing. I don't look at that.
He had seen the harp known she was after the trophy revealed what he did with it. The crown he claimed for himself, it would have no influence over her, but their rule would be one of coercion and enslavement. A fourth object lay on the altar veiled in shadow, but she couldn't make out more than a gleam of age-worn bone. The vision shifted, and they were on a great black bed. Golden skin of Lanthus's back shining as he moved behind her. Gross. Such pleasure she had never known, except for she had, because Cassian is beautiful and he can fuck off.
So Liv said something where she said, "Is it possible that Sirius could be alive? Like he's just essentially not in a being?"
Yeah. Doubtful, but yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, so the Valg have 1000% been described as like worm-like creatures inside these bodies.
Mm-hmm.
It's like body snatchers.
Lanthus's head and corpse fell in different directions, thumping upon the stones. Strange black blood spurted from his form, and then Cassian was there groaning as he wrapped his hand around her.
Okay, I think we're good now on Silver Flames.
Yep.
So, I mean, that whole serious conversation we can say. I'm just curious now.
Have to.
The Adis thing being
Yeah.
Finn.
I mean, I don't think that it's not possible.
Yeah, I mean, some of these theories I think we come up with, I'm like, these are really good, but I don't think that's the direction.
I don't think that's the right direction.
I don't
she's
think it is
trying to
either,
go.
but I'm trying to figure out how Adis is going to get involved in this because
Oh, I mean, yeah.
because Adis is 2 levels below Apollyon. He's
2 levels
5th.
above.
2 levels
He's
above.
5th.
Sorry, he's 5th,
Apollyon's
7th. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, it drives me crazy we don't know who's in level 6.
Because we know who's in level 4, 3.
3.
Okay.
No, 4.
Thanatos.
Wait.
That's Thanatos.
Thanatos? No, Thanatos is 3. No.
No, I think you're right. I think it is 3.
Thanatos is 4.
I think it is 3.
No, because
Sam.
he's
I know
the
we wrote this down.
I think,
Oh wait, I wrote this down. Hold on, I have it open.
I was like, I think he's 4.
Don't forget too that on chapter 26 in Akaward that Lord Thanatos is brought up.
Yes, he is. It's 4. So there's the Hollow, the Trench, the Canyon. We don't know. The Ravine is Thanatos. Then it's Adis. We don't know who's in the Abyss, and the Pit is Apollyon.
Yes.
Okay. I was like, I have a feeling we have that.
I'm gonna see if I can find the Thanatos bit in Akaward.
It's in Akawar. It's
on chapter 26.
Well, if Adis went into so say Adis is Finn, then it would make sense that names of the princes of hell got perpetuated within Prithian.
Okay, so this Thanatos is brought up when they're talking about the Ouroboros.
Yes.
So to take the Ouroboros to claim it, you must first look into it, and everyone who has attempted to do so has either gone mad or been broken beyond repair, even a High Lord or two, if legend is true.
Mm-hmm.
So it is yours if you dare to face it. He said to Reese, perhaps the closest he'd come to asking for permission to leave. Lord Thanatos is having difficulties with his daughter again. He requires my assistance. So Lord Thanatos is somebody who is a lord in the Hewn City.
And that's Akawar.
Yes.
I'm going to be honest. I think that's like a Cormac situation.
I think so too.
Well, but the thing that's interesting is like, I think you could link it to potentially like world crossing and just a name being passed down.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
then it would make sense that there's a Thanatos in Akawar as well, because if there was that connection to hell, just like if there is a connection to Aurelia, like that Cormac is a name.
Well, Cormac and Aurelia was a last name, but it was of like someone from Fenharrow. It was one of Arobin's like clients, like investors, clients, whatever. It's how Aelin rescued Adian. I'm just trying. This is gonna take a minute, but I'm just trying to figure out how the hell to connect hell.
Yeah.
And I think we all agree that the Illyrians are somehow tied to this.
Oh yeah, the Illyrians are some kind of like experiment by the Asteria, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Right?
Yeah. And definitely, because we know, and it doesn't make sense for them to have created the Seraphim. Because
Right. No,
we know that
because
they
the
created
Seraphim makes
something,
sense.
and it makes 0 sense for them to have created the Seraphim.
Yeah.
It's Illyrians.
I mean, Apollyon has leathery wings.
There's a reason
Yes.
they called it like she recognized it as demon wings when she
Yes.
first runs into
She
that.
thought it. Yes. She's
Well,
like,
and-
hell has grass.
Hell has grass.
Hell has grass.
My favorite thing is you trolling Alex and you going, what if Bryce Lanson is like, hell has grass? And I was just like, Sarah.
I can't wait to do that. I can't wait to do that for How Fast.
You make me angry. Did you know that?
Well, I mean, I'm
Bread
gonna
and
try
roses.
not to get spoiled, but I have to protect her.
Amanda.
What did she say?
She said bread and roses.
It's funny.
It's not.
It's a little funny.
It will
We
be
can laugh
funny.
at it now because we shared that.
That trauma. Do you know how many
trauma.
people Avery and I have had to explain the bread and roses thing to? And they're like, I don't get the joke. And I'm like, well, good for you.
Congratulations.
I'm really
So happy for you.
This is the same type of thing that I heard happened with Air of Fire. when Air of Fire came out, people were so upset because they were so on Kale's, like, it was Kale and Selena and that was it. And so, like, when Rowan showed up, it was like, no, like, Kale. And, like, that's what I've heard, is that that's what the fandom was like.
That's insane.
I don't blame them. I mean, there was a moment for me where I was like, oh, yeah,
Amanda,
Kale.
you can troll me all you want. The only thing you can't troll me about is Elreal. I will die.
That's where I come in. But I don't do very often.
Oh,
No,
also,
you are.
part of the reason why I want the Illyrians to be the experiment is because then it would make the angels and the Illyrians essentially the same thing. And then everybody can piss off when they tell me that Bryce and Hunt can't be mates because they're different species.
I'm sorry. I'm just going to quickly say, in my opinion, like, in my own educated opinion, Hunt's reaction to Bryce was more in line with Rowan than it was with any Bat Boy. Because once he realized it, how feral and freaked out he got is the same as Rowan in Kingdom of Ash. Like, Rowan, once it connected to Rowan, he was like, oh, and it was like, back away. Like, everyone was like, that's the same way Hunt was in the sub. Like, it's the same. Like, I read that and I was like, oh, homeboy, that's not like Prithian mates. That's like,
I'm gonna need for you to calm down, sir.
but
Please
yeah,
don't
like,
explode this submarine.
when Rune was like, you need to calm the fuck down. And he was like, he got more lightning and Rune was like, got it, bro. Like, it was so funny.
Yeah.
He was like, amazing.
And then he goes to Bryce and he's like, you need to call them the fuck
Yeah,
down.
you need to figure this out. Like, that is the same energy. That's like, okay, and we will have this discussion. I don't know if she'll bring it up. I'm going to bring it up because actually, she brought it up in a TikTok, so I don't care anymore. Caitlin, our friend Caitlin,
Oh yeah.
when she read Kingdom of Ash, she hated that Rowan left Aelin after he rescued her. Because he rescued her, if you remember, and then she was like, Fenris, and Rowan was like, on it, and left. And like, then Lorcan and Illy took Aelin to safety. Caitlin hates that. She's like, oh, I can't
Why?
believe he left her, like, blah, blah. And I was like, you have to understand, their dynamic is not the same as Rhys and Fair, where, like, Rhys would be like, koala on me, like, just hug me. Like, that's Rhys.
No.
Rowan's like,
Aelin
Yes.
looks at Rowan and is like, do this. And he's like, yes, ma'am.
yeah. Except sometimes he's not. Like, I know, there's a moment in Empire of Storms where Aelin's like, get me water. And Rowan fills it up to the very top, and he looks at her the entire time like, you little bitch. Like, it's one of my favorite things. Like, he's just like, she's like, I got it. Like, I'll deal with this later. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I understand I was being an asshole just
Yeah.
now. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
Just,
it's
like, bring me
okay.
the water, please.
this is also where I know that they're kinky in bed. So, like, it's,
Oh yeah.
but I just want to be, but that moment when Rowan is like, got it, and then goes deals with Cain in Kingdom of Ash is the same energy as Hunt in the sub.
Ooh, somebody said, remember when Rowan was trying so hard to suppress it, but the man table slammed Rolf for making a bitchy comment about Sam?
And how quickly he wanted to, like, bust Darrow's ass in Empire of Storms is like, what he's like, you can talk shit all you want about me, but you don't talk about her. And I was like,
I will ruin your life,
yeah,
sir.
he was even like, you can marry her off to Adian, and Aelin's like, whoa, bro, okay, no, we're not doing that.
He's like, back it up.
He's like, and Adian's like, Adian's like wants to vomit in the corner. Like, he's like, oh my God, please, I can't marry her. Like, this is not it. This isn't it. And Rowan's like, yeah, I'm kind of worthless. Stanley's like, shut up. Like, it's just so, that whole didn't, like, oh, it's so good. But this is what makes me so mad about when people get upset about Hunt. If you didn't pay anyone who's willing to tell me that Rowan gets boring after Empire of Storms, listen.
You know what else? You know what else isn't boring?
What?
The witch chapters.
And the Therion chapters, both of you.
The Therion chapters were boring.
They
They
were
were
not
boring.
boring.
They
There
were
would not be a storyline without Therion. They would not have Therion was the first person to introduce them to the whole thing with Sophie. They were already involved. Like, there was already things about it.
I mean, we could argue that
we could've-
Cormac could have just
Yeah,
said
Cormac could
something.
have brought that in, love.
I'm not saying I agree with someone said it earlier.
Because you want to know something else as well, is that Therion is going to give us a lovely connection to the beautiful, the gorgeous, the ever amazing Ariadne. So
What?
because they are both with the Viper
because
Queen.
they're both
Oh.
blood sworn to the fucking Viper Queen.
Oh God.
Also, y'all are saying this now. Watch, Therion's gonna be the one. He's gonna be the first one to get a book afterwards, and I'm gonna be like,
He probably will. But
Yeah,
like,
it'll be the House of Many Waters novella
Many
after
Waters is
Hobas.
sitting
and
over
all of
there.
us will be like, oh God.
I like how.
Oh God.
I just want it known though. What will be the best is if a spin-off series does happen, and Sarah's like moniker of a spin-off series is taking out the "and," because A Court of Silver Flames House of Many Waters.
Yeah.
This is the thing, which is ironic because the Little Mermaid song just popped into my head, but like literally the Little Mermaid song just started. I agree. Someone said this earlier, and I feel the same way about Elaine, that they are boring as hell right now, but I know that they are there for a reason and that they will not be boring in the future. So I do not think that Therion will be boring. Well,
Elaine just needs more time to develop.
She needs sassy Lucian.
Think about how important most likely the river courts or like the water courts are going to become, based off of the fact that we see them in Hosab, like on the submarine. We are also seeing the dynamic of the river queens.
Listen,
I do not like her.
This is
Ursula.
This is what I have to say about the whole river Lunath. Just say Lunath, Midgard in general. When it comes to CC3 Hofast, as I like to call it,
it's for sure Hofast.
I have no idea what the hell is going to happen in Midgard, except for the fact that the frat pack, or as I like to call them, Rune and the crew, but Rune's not with the crew, so the crew and Ethan, like to me, the top stories are Ethan and the wolves
and the Mystic,
and the Mystic. Then I do think if Therion doesn't get free of the Viper Queen, that's a novella.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the basis for a Therion book.
For the Little Mermaid novella.
Yeah, I don't think he's getting free of the River Queen.
No,
or not the River Queen.
I don't think so either. I think that's like a low bet at the bottom. Then you have... I think the Autumn King is the other big piece. And then... why am I... Sabine. Those are the remaining threads that we need to take care of. In... Yes. Midgard, or I should say Lunathian. Then when we go to the Asteri location, we have Rune, Lydia, Hunt, Baxian, who R.I.P. already. Okay,
R.I.P. Baxian.
R.I.P. Baxian.
That man is dead.
He ain't surviving.
He's dead. Like you're gonna send 3 people to the torture chambers, and all of them are coming out alive.
No,
not a shot. Not a
Baxian's
shot.
What's going to be really sad though is I think that Mordok is going to play a role in what happens to Baxian.
Oh yeah.
And what's going to make that even sadder is that Mordok is also like a bloodhound, and so he knows that.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. He totally does know.
He knows, and he's gonna kill Baxian. He's gonna be the one to do it.
Wait, I didn't even think about that. Mordok does know.
Mordok knows.
Mordok knows and doesn't.
God, I hate him so much.
I'm not looking forward to it. The other thing I'm not
Mordok also knows about Rune and Lydia. There's not a shot he doesn't.
Oh yeah. No, well, and that's like I had a moment while I was reading Hosab where I was like, is Mordok not awful?
Listen,
but the odds that there are 2 of them that aren't
But
awful.
Mordok is he's not like bloodsworn, but like he is loyal to Lydia.
Yeah, that's why I'm like,
I have questions.
Number 1.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions about
I have a lot of questions.
Liv. So she's like, Rune and Baxian's hair aren't making it out. If you haven't heard, the goal, the bet,
no,
is if Rune goes bald, I can search Pine and Snow.
No, wrong. Stop saying that. You can search Pine or Snow.
I think I have better luck with pine because snow's going to come up in Prithian. Someone search pine.
I wouldn't bet on pine. I just read an entire
You think I have
where
no.
where Cassian talks about how it smells like pine because Illyria.
Okay.
You're not going to have much more luck with pine.
I have better luck with pine.
You'll have better luck with it showing up.
I'll have better luck just searching whitethorn.
Well,
No.
you can't do
You're not
that.
allowed to
You
do
get
that.
pine
You're
or
not allowed to
snow.
do that.
And
I just-
here's the thing, Sarah.
It's gonna
here's the
make me
thing.
sweat
I
if you get to it before me. Like, it's gonna make me sweat.
I better get to it before you. You're going to ruin it for me.
I'm gonna just start crying.
I know. That's how you're gonna ruin it for me. Which is why I told Mama Rose that I'm coming to your house beforehand. And I'm taking your Kindle and I'm taking your phone.
No, you can't take
And
my phone away.
Yeah, nope. I will answer your text messages.
You don't get access to your Kindle, Sarah.
I will. Okay, fine. I will put that locking mechanism on it where your Kindle is locked, and your PDF reader, and your Google.
I work with IT bros. We'll figure out a way around it.
I will talk to your IT bros, and they'll help me lock your phone down because I am inept. You know I'm right.
Yeah,
And
you
then we'll
have
get
to
on a
trust the
plane,
physical
and I will
Kindle.
hand you the
Because-
physical copy of Hopefast and let you read it.
Because
Well,
think
no,
about
we're
it,
gonna
Sarah.
be at the Airbnb before that.
Think
I'm
about
coming
it,
to your
Sarah.
house.
I know I
You're
want to
not-
have a genuine reaction. It
You
won't.
do.
I will lose it. Okay.
I
also know that nobody in our friend group can get to that and not immediately look at me and be like, "Where's Sarah right now?"
I am the person who can get to that and not look at you.
I'm like getting nervous.
So Avery and Sarah are the only two people allowed in the room. Everybody else has to be in a different room.
I will have my phone ready. And you can just start
Just
calling out
like
chapter
going-
numbers, and
I'm
I
like-
will know when it's coming.
I'm like
and I will
already
record your
sweating
genuine-
about it.
I will record your genuine
I, like-
reaction. You will like it so much better that way, and you know it.
I'm not kidding. I need to see them.
I know.
I'm not, but I also if they're not in there, I need to prepare.
Stop rubbing your chest like you're having a heart
I
attack.
feel like
Well, and wait, hold on. I will say I have a very strong theory about why they need to go
to Terracin.
to. Well,
I know you think Otterlin, but Terracin.
I don't think Otterlin. I think Rift holds
Whatever.
a very obvious Rift point. But I think for sure they need to be in the southern continent, and it needs to be Nezrin and Sartak's wedding. Everybody's there, so we see the whole gang. But I think
Wait, hold
that
on.
we
What's the
I
timeline?
like this. I like this.
Wait, what's the timeline? It's 9 to 6
6
months.
6 to 9 months after A Court of Silver Flames.
So it's about 6 to 9. Wait, the epilogue of
Kingdom
the
of
epilogue
Ash.
of Kingdom of Ash takes place about 6 months after, because I think Aelin's birthday had passed.
Okay, so let's say it's 9 months. It's 3 months after that.
Nezrin and Sartak are not married at that point, but Lorcan and Eliard, no, yes,
Lorcan and Elide could be
they were married.
getting married.
They
Yeah,
were married in the
and-
epilogue.
Okay.
Yeah, and Adian and
Lysandra
Lysandra.
Lysandra
were
and
next.
Adian were close. Yeah. So
They were next.
Lysandra and Adian's wedding then.
I'm so excited. I literally would cry.
I just need everybody to be there because I think some people have some important things to share with Bryce.
Some.
Well, I think a few people could have important things to share with Bryce.
Yeah, I
Including
could.
you.
I also, well, regardless, we need.
I also propose something else and a reason they could be in Rifthold.
Don't say this.
Rift hold.
This
Yes.
makes me so mad. This makes me so
What if
mad.
What if
This makes me
Aelin-
so mad.
What if Aelin and Rowan have gone to Rifthold so that Irene can help deliver her baby?
No, Irene said she would go to Aelin.
I know, but Sarah, stop discounting the way I'm trying to get you pregnant, Aelin.
I thought you were gonna say that they're gonna arrive
No.
in a rift hole and it's just gonna be Kale and no one else is around and I'm gonna
Right,
be
that's
so
what I say
mad.
when I troll
but here's
you.
the
I was
thing, here's
being
the thing.
genuine, you asshole.
Here's the thing, though, is I think that so many answers lie in the southern continent.
I agree with you.
And so like
We gotta get
need
closer to the southern continent.
Baby girl.
We can't have another walking for
This
several
is why I
months
think.
situation.
This is why I think. Well, okay. This is where my marketing brain comes out, not my like author brain. But this is why I think it would make sense for it to be Terracin because
yeah.
But I also think this opens the door for Fenris to be like, he's the emissary, he's traveling. There's our tie-in to a new series.
Yes, with
Southern
Fenrir
continent.
and Therion and
And as long as I get Minorian, I don't care.
Oh yeah, I mean, listen, you don't think
Did you see the theory that somebody said that Dorian could make the drop and then therefore would get to live forever with Manon? And I was like, that's not how that works.
because the drop does not make you immortal.
Yes.
The drop does not make you immortal.
It just slows your aging.
It slows your aging, but it's fully dependent on your lineage. So he would need to have probably a bigger percentage Fae because everybody who has made, like Bryce is half Fae, and it has nothing to do with power because angels only live up to 800 years is about the lifespan of an angel. So no matter what, Hunt is like super powerful.
The other thing too is, I don't know if anyone's talked about this, but have we talked about the fact that Manon could tie her life to Dorian? I don't know if she would, but
I don't know. That's what there's a reason she said we'll see.
yeah, she did. And Dorian was like, little shit. I still don't understand how he got Manon out of all of them. Like, I mean, I do.
Daddy Phantom Hands? Are you kidding?
Okay, but you can't tell me. You just read Throne of Glass and you're like, yeah, he's getting Manon. Like, come on.
No,
That's a baby.
Baby Dorian's not getting Manon, but Daddy Dorian's getting
Manon.
Daddy Dorian's getting Manon. There's a reason she didn't look twice at him until he brought out those Phantom Hands, and then she was like, oh, okay.
Can I tell you the first time I read that, I was like, what the hell is going on right now?
You went, what the hell is going on? I was like, what the hell is going on?
I was like, wait, does Aelin know that he's not interrogating her right now? And then she did know, and she was like, and Dorian was like, don't say anything. She's like, I'm not
saying anything.
But I have my face senses, so I know what happened in that room.
And
Rowan's like, leave it alone, leave it alone.
The best part's getting Adian's POV after, and he's like, God, reeks in there.
What do you think out of 100? So on a scale from 1 to 100, what do you think the probability is that Aelin and Rhys are going to interact with each other?
Ooh. I'm keeping it on the lower end.
I am too.
Because I think Bryce goes to Terracin, not Aelin comes to Prythian.
Yeah, if I see Aelin and Prythian, I'm going to be very confused.
No, I don't think Aelin will go to Prythian. I think that the ultimate question is, will we have an end game moment where everyone comes to Crescent City? I go back and forth on it if I think it or not.
I think it would be cool, but I don't think she's.
I don't think it's going to be a main group.
I lean more towards not because I think
Bryce just needs the information.
Or how about she takes the Wolf Tribe of Terracin and then some folks from
led by
Prythian.
Fenris and Vaughn.
No, they stay with Aelin.
I think Vaughn's already in Crescent City.
Oh, where he's making the tattoos, because I do love that theory, even though I know it's full
making
crap.
tattoos, or we might see him in Hofast.
Poor Vaughn.
Can I tell you, if Vaughn shows up in Hofast, I'm gonna be like, seriously?
Seriously?
It wouldn't surprise me though. It would actually be such a funny fan service moment if Vaughn showed up in CC.
Okay, we've been at this for almost 2.5 hours.
And I still haven't eaten dinner.
Yeah.
We have a live tomorrow.
And I have work tomorrow.
Okay. Well, thanks, Claire, for popping in.
Yeah. Sorry to end it, guys, but like it's 11:30.
I was about to end it anyways because I wanted to get food.
Right.
So
fair.
Yep, that's fair. Then I guess the only thing I'm going to say as an outro is tomorrow at 8 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, we are doing 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern. We are doing our mass read along.
Yeah, Throne of Glass.
Throne of Glass, and it is series spoilers. Just so
It
you know,
is.
just Throne of Glass series spoilers, not like, I mean, everyone in here's read all of it, but we will, because we love our friends dearly, but their sweet little souls can't remember what happened in
Tom
Throne of Glass.
Holland is on this live.
Tom
So.
Holland is going to be on the live, aka Izzy, who can't
I
keep
love her
a
dearly.
secret to save her life, but we love her dearly. But actually, I think she's going to be good. I think it's more like, I run into the same issue where I forget what happens in Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight. I get them confused. But then after that, I'm pretty much good. Chatting about it or reading it out loud? Oh, no, we're chatting about it. We're not going to be reading quotes.
Jesus Christ.
I might read one or two, but...
That's what the podcast is for. That's why that thing is an hour and 45 minutes long. Y'all have fun.
Yeah, go listen to that. I mean, I might read one or two quotes. I might read the Dorian quote, and I might read the Kane quote. But like, other than that, probably nothing.
I'm probably gonna bring up the 8-pointed star.
That's fine.
I won't.
Well, the thing, so yeah,
it's series spoilers, not
crossover.
Series spoilers.
It's not crossover.
But there is an 8-pointed star in Throne of Glass. Okay, bye.
It is mentioned in the podcast. It is? Yeah, it is. I was like,
it's brief.
Claire,
and
I like that
no
Claire listened to the podcast all the way. I did not.
I've
listened to it twice.
Why? Really?
Jesus.
Well,
Why?
I listened
We're
to
not
it.
that
I listened to it on the Patreon, and then it was just playing in my car today. Avery got one of my reactions to reading it because I
get down, you dirty rascals. Get down.
Because she says at one point, like, she's like, Dorian's sitting in the chair, like, I'm the king of the castle,
lounging in that chair.
When I said that to my mom last night, she was like, "Oh, maybe you're not crazy," and I was like, "So glad you now think that. So glad you now think I'm not crazy." But yeah, so we're gonna be live tomorrow with a bunch of our friends. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna be talking a bunch of things. If you're on Patreon, you're gonna get the notes on Saturday. You're getting the notes Saturday. Okay. And there is links and gifts and all that fun stuff in it. So it is a lot of fun. We had a
good time trolling each other.
We did. We definitely did. So yeah, and hope you enjoyed Theory Thursday. This was a makeup for me getting COVID and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. My boss decided to quit last month. It was a lot.
It was a lot. Yeah. Yeah, Claire. It was a lot. Yeah.
We've been having a great time over here.
Yeah. Merch update. Well, we still have a few people in the live. There's going to be one more merch restock this month, but it is going to be very, very, very limited.
Eek.
Yeah, because I showed Avery the amount that I have left and it is tiny. So we're going to do what we can with it, and then you guys are getting a non-SJM launch next month.
Woohoo!
Yeah. So, okay. We're going to go.
Yeah.
Okay. Good night. See you tomorrow.
Bye. Sarah, don't leave.
I'll stay right here.
Okay, now they can't hear us.
Okay, cool. Claire, I want to read you something from that I wrote today that I think is the greatest thing of all time, because it's literally 2 sentences, and Sarah was like, Avery, and I was like, okay, cool. So it doesn't suck. Yay. Okay, where is my... Ugh. Okay, so it's literally. Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. He leaned in closely, his mouth curled into an almost feline grin. I have 0 redeeming qualities, princess. His breath danced across her face as he moved to lean into her